Hi there. If you're tuning in today, welcome to the channel. We're diving into a conversation about life that I think a lot of us need to hear, especially those who have spent decades navigating all its ups and downs. You've worked, you've raised families, you've built careers, and you've seen a whole lot of change. But now, as you step into the later chapters of your life, I have a message for you. And it's an important one. It's time to do less. I know. It might sound counterintuitive in a world that always tells us to do more, to achieve more. But today, I'm going to ask you to take a step back with me, to really think about what truly matters now, at this stage in your journey. Together, we're going to unpack why doing less might just be the key to finding more joy and fulfillment in your life. And hey, if you find value in today's discussion, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our future talks. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm always eager to hear from you. So, without further ado, let's get started. Part 1. Doing less, the key to true fulfillment. You've probably spent your entire life doing more. More work, more responsibilities, more achievements. And now, after all these years, what does it all mean? What truly matters at this point in your journey? The answer might surprise you. It's time to do less. And by less, I don't mean giving up on life or resigning yourself to boredom, far from it. Instead, it's about choosing where to focus your energy, about truly valuing your time as the precious gift that it is. For decades, society has told us that success means working hard, accumulating wealth, and striving for status. But here's the thing, at this stage in life, maybe it's time to redefine what success actually means. You've probably already noticed that the happiness we were promised through wealth, possessions, and accolades isn't as fulfilling as it once seemed. The older we get, the more we understand that happiness isn't something we can simply buy or achieve through hard work alone. It's something we nurture by focusing on the things that bring us genuine joy. So, ask yourself, what do you want less of in your life? Less stress, less obligation, less noise. Many of us realize, often in quiet moments of reflection, that what we truly crave isn't more accumulation, it's freedom. Freedom from the rat race. Freedom from endless commitments. Freedom from the things that no longer matter to us. Realizing this can be both liberating and a little scary, because it means stepping away from the identities and routines we've built for ourselves over decades. But there's a beauty in this shift, in doing less and feeling more. When you decide to do less, you make space for what actually matters. The pressure to always be productive starts to lift, and instead, you're left with time to invest in experiences and relationships that fill your soul. Instead of chasing more, you can focus on better moments, better connections, and better peace of mind. Let's be real here, we've been conditioned to think that slowing down means we're losing value, that doing less means we're giving up. But the truth is, you've spent years working hard, accumulating knowledge, and contributing to your family, your job, and your community. You've done more than enough. Now, it's time to make choices that serve you, not the expectations of others. Imagine waking up and not having to rush into a busy schedule of tasks that feel more like obligations than joys. Imagine spending your time doing things that actually bring you pleasure, like taking a long walk in the park, savoring your morning coffee, or connecting with someone you care about. When you start focusing on these moments, the idea of doing less becomes an invitation to live more deeply, to appreciate more fully, and to finally prioritize the things that bring you peace. If you're watching this, you might be thinking, but I've worked all my life to stay busy, to stay productive. What happens if I stop? And to that, I say, life still happens. It becomes richer, more meaningful, and more yours. Doing less doesn't mean becoming less, it means finally taking a step back to understand what makes your life worthwhile. Take a moment to consider what it is that truly fulfills you. Is it the grand accomplishments or the simple pleasures? Often, it's those seemingly insignificant, everyday moments that bring the most joy. The feeling of the sun on your face, the laughter of loved ones, the beauty of a sunset, these are the things that make life worth living. And when we do less of the meaningless, we make room for more of the meaningful. I'm not saying this shift is easy, especially in a society that glorifies constant productivity. But if you're watching this, it's because deep down, you're ready for a change. You want to feel at peace with your choices, with your life, and with how you spend your time. The key is to give yourself permission to let go of what no longer serves you. Think about all the activities you've been doing just because they've become habits or because someone, somewhere, expects you to do them. What if you let go of those things? What if you chose to subtract rather than add? What if you allowed yourself the gift of simplicity, of prioritizing only what truly brings you joy and letting the rest fade away? Now, this doesn't mean ignoring responsibilities altogether. We all have things we need to do. But it's about discerning between what's necessary and what's optional, between what enriches your life and what merely fills it up. This distinction can be life-changing. There's something incredibly powerful about deciding to do less. It's an act of rebellion against a culture that tells us our value lies only in how much we produce. It's a decision to place your happiness, your well-being, and your peace of mind above all else. And it's a reminder that life isn't just about doing, it's about being. It's about being present, being mindful, and being free to live on your own terms. If this resonates with you, take it as a gentle nudge. Maybe it's time to take a step back, to reassess your priorities, and to choose less stress, less busyness, less striving. Because in choosing less, you're really choosing more. More joy, more presence, more freedom. And hey, don't forget to take a moment to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Let me know, what's one thing in your life you'd like to do less of? Your feedback means so much, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll dive into reevaluating the value of time over money and why it's important to make this shift now more than ever. Part 2, Reevaluating Value Time Over Money. Alright, let's dive into another crucial shift that happens as we move through life, the reevaluation of time versus money. It's a concept that's easy to overlook in our younger years because, let's face it, we're taught that money is everything. We spend our lives working for it, saving it, and planning around it. But as we reach the later chapters of our journey, a different truth begins to emerge. That time, not money, is our most valuable currency. Think back to when you were working full-time, building a career, and making ends meet. The hustle was necessary. We had bills to pay, mouths to feed, futures to plan for. There was a sense of accomplishment in earning, in providing, and in accumulating. But now, after years of chasing financial stability, what's next? What happens when the future you've worked so hard for arrives? Suddenly, the value of your time starts to outweigh the value of the dollars you've amassed. The reality is, money can buy comfort, security, and convenience, but it cannot buy back time. Every day that passes is a day we don't get back, and as we get older, this becomes increasingly evident. If you ask people in their 60s, 70s, or 80s what they value most, it's rarely the size of their bank account or the stuff they own. More often, it's the moments they share with loved ones, the experiences they've had, and the time they still have left. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying money isn't important. Of course it is. It's what allows us to live comfortably, to have security, and to meet our needs. But there comes a point where accumulating more money doesn't bring more happiness. In fact, the relentless pursuit of wealth can often get in the way of what truly matters. Think about it. How many times have we sacrificed our time, our well-being, or even our relationships, just to earn a little more? How often have we delayed joy, put off adventures, or missed important moments because we were too focused on making money? The truth is, money is a tool, nothing more, nothing less. And once we have enough to cover our needs, the question becomes, what are we doing with the time we have left? This stage in your life is a chance to reevaluate what's really important. Instead of focusing on accumulating more wealth, consider how you can spend your time in a way that brings meaning and fulfillment. Maybe it's spending more time with family, reconnecting with old friends, or simply enjoying the small pleasures in life that often get overlooked. The ability to savor these moments is a luxury that money can't buy. For many of us, time has always been something we've traded for money. We've worked long hours, taken on extra projects, and sacrificed our weekends, all in the name of financial stability. And while there's nothing wrong with hard work, it's important to recognize that, at some point, the trade-off no longer makes sense. After decades of working, you've earned the right to value your time more than your money. Imagine if we treated our time with the same care and attention that we give to our finances. We budget our money, we track our spending, we make plans for the future, but how often do we do the same with our time? How often do we think about how we're spending our days, who we're spending them with, and whether those choices are truly adding value to our lives? The truth is, time is a finite resource. Once it's gone, we can't get it back. And as we get older, this reality becomes harder to ignore. That's why it's so important to make the most of the time we have left, to spend it wisely, to invest it in the things that bring us joy, and to share it with the people who matter most. One of the biggest regrets people often have later in life is that they didn't spend enough time on the things that truly mattered to them. They wish they'd spent more time with their families, more time pursuing their passions, and less time worrying about money or trying to impress others. But the good news is, it's never too late to make a change. It's never too late to start valuing your time the way it deserves to be valued. Maybe you're at a point where your financial needs are met, and you're wondering what comes next. Maybe you're considering stepping back from work, or you've already retired and you're trying to figure out how to spend your days. Whatever your situation, I want to encourage you to think about what really brings you joy. What makes you feel alive? What are the things you've always wanted to do, but never had the time for? This is your opportunity to invest in those things. To spend your time in a way that brings you fulfillment, not just productivity. To prioritize experiences over earnings, relationships over possessions, and moments over milestones. Because at the end of the day, it's not the money we've made that we'll remember, it's the memories we've created, the people we've loved, and the lives we've touched. Think about the people in your life who mean the most to you. Maybe it's your children, your grandchildren, your partner, or your friends. What would it mean to them if you spent more time with them, if you were more present in their lives? What would it mean to you? The truth is, the connections we make with others are some of the most valuable things we have. And unlike money, they don't lose their value over time, they grow richer, deeper, and more meaningful. Another thing to consider is how you can use your time to give back. Maybe there's a cause you care about, a community that could use your help, or a skill you'd like to share. Volunteering, mentoring, or simply being there for someone who needs you can bring a sense of purpose and fulfillment that money can't provide. It's a way to leave a legacy that goes beyond wealth, to make a positive impact in the lives of others. And don't forget about yourself. After years of working, providing, and caring for others, it's time to take care of yourself. What are the things that bring you joy? Maybe it's spending time in nature, reading a good book, learning something new, or simply enjoying a quiet moment to yourself. Whatever it is, make time for it. You've earned it. So, as you move forward, I want you to remember this: time is more valuable than money. It's the one thing we can't earn more of, the one thing we can't get back once it's gone. So spend it wisely. Spend it on the things that matter, on the people you love, and on the experiences that bring you joy. Because in the end, it's not about how much we've earned, it's about how well we've lived. Thank you for sticking with me through this part of our journey. If this message resonates with you, take a moment to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What are some of the ways you want to start valuing your time more? I'd love to hear from you, and I'll see you in the next part. Part 3, Less Work, More Life, Escaping the Pressure. For decades, most of us have been told that hard work is the only path to success and happiness. We were taught that our worth is tied to how much we produce, how many hours we put in, and how dedicated we are to our careers. But what happens when you reach a point in your life where more work no longer equates to more joy? What if, instead of more work, what you really need is more life? Let's face it, many of us have spent a good portion of our lives in the grind, and for some, it has become a defining part of who we are. We wear our long hours like badges of honor, thinking that if we just keep working, eventually, we'll get to a place where we can finally relax. But what if you're already at that place? What if now is the perfect time to take a step back, to let go of the pressure, and to start enjoying life without feeling like you constantly need to be doing something? Maybe you've retired, or maybe you're just beginning to consider stepping back from the grind. Either way, it's a chance to redefine what work means to you. Work doesn't have to be about meeting quotas or achieving accolades. It can be about fulfilling yourself in a way that brings you joy, rather than just chasing productivity. Life after work offers a new kind of freedom, one where you get to decide how to spend your time, and who you spend it with. The question now becomes, what commitments can I let go of? What activities or obligations no longer serve me or my happiness? For many of us, we've held on to commitments simply out of habit or out of a sense of obligation to others. But now, you have the opportunity to re-examine these commitments and decide if they still bring value to your life. If they don't, maybe it's time to let them go. Imagine what your life could look like if you focused less on the shoulds and more on the wants. For some people, this means spending more time outdoors, taking a morning walk, gardening, or just sitting in the sun and soaking in the beauty of nature. For others, it might mean diving back into hobbies and passions that they've left behind over the years, painting, playing music, or even learning something entirely new. The beauty of this stage in life is that you have the freedom to choose. You're no longer bound by the expectations of work or societal pressures. You've earned this freedom, now it's time to use it. One of the challenges of doing less work and more living is that it can feel like you're somehow failing, like if you're not constantly productive, you're not valuable. But the truth is, your value isn't tied to how much you do. It's tied to who you are and how you show up in the world. Letting go of the pressure to always be busy can actually open up space for you to be more present, more fulfilled, and more at peace with yourself. Let's talk about what it means to escape the pressure to always be working, to always be achieving, to always be moving forward. It's a pressure that's ingrained in so many of us from a young age. We grow up being told that the only way to find happiness is to work hard, to sacrifice, to always push ourselves. And while there's certainly value in hard work, there's also value in rest, in relaxation, and in simply enjoying the life we've built. This is where the idea of balance comes in. It's about finding a balance between the things you have to do and the things you want to do. It's about recognizing that while work has its place, so does play, so does rest, and so does connection. After years of prioritizing work, maybe it's time to start prioritizing yourself, your health, your happiness, and your well-being. Think about the things that bring you joy. What are the moments that make you feel alive? Maybe it's spending time with your grandchildren, watching them grow and discover the world. Maybe it's exploring new places, traveling to destinations you've always dreamed of, or even just getting lost in a good book. These moments are the essence of life, they're what make all the hard work worthwhile. So why not give yourself permission to enjoy them fully, without feeling guilty for not doing more? Escaping the pressure also means letting go of the idea that we always need to be achieving something in order to be happy. We're constantly bombarded with messages that tell us we need to keep striving, to keep reaching for the next big thing. But sometimes, the most profound happiness comes from simply being content with where we are right now. From recognizing that we've already achieved enough, that we've already done enough, and that now it's time to just live. It's about realizing that life isn't a race, and there's no finish line we need to cross in order to be happy. It's about enjoying the journey, rather than constantly striving for the destination. And it's about giving yourself permission to slow down, to savor the moments that bring you joy, and to let go of the need to always be on. Maybe there are things you've always wanted to do but never had the time for. Maybe you've dreamed of learning to cook, of taking up photography, or of writing your memoirs. Maybe you've wanted to reconnect with an old friend, to build something with your hands, or to simply sit and watch the sunset without feeling rushed. Now is the time to do those things, to embrace the freedom that comes from doing less work and more living. The truth is, life is short, and we don't know how much time we have left. That's why it's so important to make the most of the time we do have, to spend it on the things that matter, to invest it in the people we love, and to use it in a way that brings us fulfillment. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how much we've done, it's about how much we've truly lived. As you step into this next chapter of your life, I want to encourage you to let go of the pressure to always be productive. To give yourself permission to rest, to play, and to enjoy the life you've worked so hard to build. You deserve it. And remember, the value of your life isn't measured by how much you do, it's measured by the love you give, the joy you experience, and the moments you share. So, what would you do if you weren't worried about being productive? If you weren't concerned about what others might think or how it might look? What would bring you the most joy, the most fulfillment, and the most peace? Whatever it is, I want to encourage you to do it, to take that step, to make that choice, and to live your life on your own terms. Thank you for joining me for this part of our journey. If you're finding value in these reflections, please take a moment to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on future videos. And of course, I'd love to hear from you. What are some of the pressures you're ready to let go of? How do you want to start living more fully? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next part. Part 4, Living on Your Own Terms. Subtract, don't add. Let's talk about something that might sound a little counterintuitive at first: subtraction. We often think that the answer to life's challenges is to add more commitments, more achievements, more possessions. We're taught to believe that happiness and fulfillment come from acquiring things, from doing more, from filling up our lives with as much as possible. But what if the real answer isn't to add, but to subtract? Now that you're in the later stages of life, it's worth reflecting on everything that takes up your time and energy. How much of it truly adds value? How much of it is simply habit, or the result of societal expectations that no longer serve you? There's an incredible freedom that comes with realizing that you don't have to do it all. You don't have to fill every moment with tasks, responsibilities, or obligations. Instead, you can choose to focus only on what makes you feel alive. It's so easy to fall into the trap of believing that more is always better. More responsibilities mean you're important. More achievements mean you're successful. More possessions mean you're prosperous. But if you're honest with yourself, you might find that the pursuit of more often leaves you feeling exhausted rather than fulfilled. What if, instead of striving for more, you focused on less? What if you chose to subtract the things that no longer serve you, to create space for the things that truly matter? Living on your own terms means making decisions that align with your values, rather than following what others expect of you. It's about simplifying your life, paring down your obligations, and letting go of the things that are weighing you down. It's about learning to say no to the things that don't matter, so you can say yes to the things that do. Think about all the things you do on a regular basis, all the commitments you've made, all the responsibilities you've taken on, all the expectations you feel you need to meet. How many of them are truly necessary? How many of them actually bring you joy? If you're like most people, the answer is probably not many. We've been conditioned to believe that we need to stay busy, that we need to fill our time with activities and commitments in order to be valuable. But the truth is, your value isn't tied to how busy you are. Your worth isn't measured by how much you do. The beauty of subtracting is that it opens up space for joy, space for creativity, space for connection. When you let go of the things that are weighing you down, you make room for the things that truly matter. You make room for the moments that bring you peace, for the experiences that bring you joy, and for the relationships that bring you love. Take a moment to reflect on what you could subtract from your life. Are there commitments that no longer serve you? Are there activities that drain your energy without giving anything back? Are there possessions that clutter your space and your mind? Imagine what your life could look like if you let go of these things. Imagine the freedom you could feel, the peace that could come from simplifying your life. Living on your own terms also means letting go of the expectations that others have placed on you. It means recognizing that you don't have to live up to anyone else's idea of success or happiness. You get to define what those things mean for you. You get to choose what's important, and you get to decide how you want to spend your time and energy. There's a powerful freedom in realizing that you don't have to prove anything to anyone. You don't have to meet anyone else's standards or live up to anyone else's expectations. This is your life, and you've earned the right to live it on your own terms. You've earned the right to subtract the things that don't matter, and to focus on the things that do. Maybe you've spent years striving for more success, more recognition, more stuff. And maybe, now that you've reached this stage in your life, you've realized that those things don't bring the fulfillment you thought they would. Maybe you've realized that what truly matters isn't what you have, but how you feel. It's not about accumulating more, but about letting go of the unnecessary so you can focus on what's truly meaningful. Subtracting isn't about giving up. It's about making intentional choices that align with your values and bring you joy. It's about recognizing that you don't need to do it all, and that your worth isn't defined by how much you accomplish. It's about finding the courage to let go of the things that no longer serve you, so you can make room for the things that do. Think about the things in your life that truly bring you joy. Maybe it's spending time with loved ones, being in nature, or pursuing a hobby that you're passionate about. Maybe it's simply having the time to relax, to breathe, and to be present in the moment. Whatever it is, make space for it. Subtract the things that are getting in the way, and give yourself permission to focus on what truly matters. One of the most liberating things about this stage in life is that you no longer have to live up to anyone else's expectations. You get to decide what's important, and you get to choose how you want to spend your time. You don't have to fill every moment with tasks or obligations. You don't have to prove your worth through productivity or achievements. You are enough, just as you are. There's a profound beauty and simplicity in living a life that is focused on what truly matters, rather than being cluttered with things that don't. When you subtract the unnecessary, you make room for joy. You make room for peace. You make room for the things that bring you fulfillment and happiness. So take a moment to think about what you can subtract from your life. Maybe it's a commitment that no longer serves you. Maybe it's a possession that's taking up space without adding value. Maybe it's an expectation that you've been holding on to, even though it no longer aligns with who you are. Whatever it is, give yourself permission to let it go. Give yourself permission to live on your own terms, to focus on what truly matters, and to subtract the things that are holding you back. Living on your own terms means embracing simplicity. It means recognizing that you don't need to do more, to have more, or to be more in order to be happy. It means understanding that your worth isn't tied to your achievements or your possessions, but to the love you give, the joy you experience, and the life you live. It means giving yourself permission to subtract the unnecessary, so you can make room for the things that truly matter. As we wrap up this part of our journey, I want to encourage you to take a moment to reflect on your life. What are the things that truly bring you joy? What are the things that no longer serve you? What can you subtract, so you can make room for what matters most? This is your life, and you have the power to shape it in a way that brings you fulfillment and happiness. You deserve to live on your own terms, to focus on what truly matters, and to subtract the things that are holding you back. Thank you for being here with me today. If you're enjoying this journey of reflection and growth, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on future videos. And, of course, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What are some of the things you're ready to subtract from your life? How are you choosing to live on your own terms? Let's continue this conversation together, and I'll see you in the next part. Part 5, The Joy of Simple Pleasures: Rediscovering What Matters. Let's take a moment to talk about something that is often overlooked but holds so much meaning: the simple pleasures of life. As we move through different stages, we often get caught up in the hustle, the goals, the achievements. But as we grow older, we start to realize that the things that bring the deepest joy aren't the grand accomplishments or the material possessions, they're the simple moments that make life beautiful. At this stage in your journey, there's an opportunity to rediscover the joy in these small moments. The laughter of a loved one, the warmth of the sun on your face, the first sip of your morning coffee, these are the moments that bring us true happiness. They are the moments that, in the grand scheme of things, make life worth living. And the best part? They don't cost anything. We live in a world that is obsessed with more success, more wealth, more status. But as we age, many of us start to realize that the constant pursuit of more often leaves us feeling empty. What truly fills us up are the moments of peace, the moments of connection, and the moments when we allow ourselves to simply be. There is so much joy to be found in less distraction, less noise, less pressure, and more presence in the simple things. Think about some of the simple pleasures that bring you joy. Maybe it's a long walk in the park, the smell of freshly baked bread, or a quiet evening spent with a good book. Maybe it's the sound of birds singing in the morning, the feeling of grass under your feet, or the sight of a beautiful sunset. These moments might seem small, but they are what make life rich and meaningful. They ground us, they bring us peace, and they remind us of what's truly important. One of the most beautiful things about aging is that it gives us the opportunity to slow down and appreciate these moments. When we're younger, we're often so focused on what's next, the next promotion, the next goal, the next milestone, that we forget to enjoy the present. But as we grow older, we start to understand that the present moment is all we really have. The future is uncertain, and the past is already gone. But right now, in this moment, we have the opportunity to find joy. Rediscovering the joy of simple pleasures is about shifting your focus. It's about letting go of the idea that happiness is something you need to chase or achieve. Instead, it's about realizing that happiness is already here, in the small moments that fill your day. It's about being present, about truly seeing and appreciating the beauty that surrounds you. And it's about giving yourself permission to enjoy these moments without feeling like you need to be doing something more. Take a moment to think about what brings you joy. Not the big achievements or the grand goals, but the small, everyday moments that make you smile. Maybe it's sitting in your favorite chair, listening to your favorite music, or watching the rain fall outside your window. Maybe it's a quiet conversation with a friend, the warmth of a hug, or the feeling of being truly seen and understood. These are the moments that make life beautiful, and they are the moments that we often overlook in our pursuit of more. The truth is, the simple pleasures in life are often the most profound. They remind us of what it means to be human, of what it means to be alive. They bring us back to the present moment, to the here and now. And in a world that is constantly pushing us to do more, to achieve more, to be more, there is something incredibly powerful about simply being. About allowing yourself to find joy in the small things, and about recognizing that these moments are enough. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself at this stage in your life is the gift of presence. The gift of being fully present in each moment, and of allowing yourself to find joy in the simple things. It's about letting go of the need to constantly be doing, and instead, allowing yourself to simply be. To be here, to be present, and to be open to the beauty that surrounds you. There's a peace that comes from embracing the simple pleasures of life. When you let go of the constant striving, the constant need to do more, you make space for joy. You make space for peace. You make space for the things that truly matter. And in the end, it's these moments, the moments of connection, of presence, of simple joy, that will matter the most. Think about the relationships in your life. The moments you've shared with loved ones, the laughter, the tears, the quiet moments of understanding. These are the moments that bring true happiness. And often, they happen in the simplest of ways. A shared meal, a walk together, a conversation that goes late into the night. These moments don't require money, or status, or achievement. They just require presence, a willingness to be there, to connect, and to share in the beauty of life. There's something incredibly freeing about letting go of the need for more. When you allow yourself to find joy in the simple pleasures, you realize that you already have everything you need to be happy. You realize that happiness isn't something you need to earn or achieve, it's something that's already here, waiting for you to notice it. It's in the quiet moments, in the small details, in the beauty of everyday life. So, as you move forward, I want to encourage you to take a step back from the constant striving, the constant need for more. Take a moment to appreciate the beauty that surrounds you. Take a moment to find joy in the small things. Because in the end, it's these moments that will matter the most. It's the simple pleasures that will bring you the deepest joy, the most lasting fulfillment. Maybe it's time to reconnect with the things that bring you joy. Maybe it's time to spend more time in nature, to take up a hobby that you've always loved, or to simply sit in the sun and enjoy the warmth on your face. Maybe it's time to slow down, to breathe, and to allow yourself to find joy in the present moment. Whatever it is, give yourself permission to do it. Give yourself permission to find joy in the simple pleasures of life. Thank you for being here with me today. If you're enjoying this journey of reflection and growth, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on future videos. And, of course, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What are some of the simple pleasures that bring you joy? How are you choosing to find happiness in the small moments? Let's continue this conversation together, and I'll see you in the next part. Part 6, Freedom from the Opinions of Others, Embracing Your True Self. As we come to the final part of this journey, let's talk about something that many of us grapple with throughout our lives: the opinions of others. For most of our lives, we're conditioned to care deeply about what others think of us. We strive to meet expectations, to fit in, to be liked, to be seen as successful. But as we grow older, we start to realize something incredibly freeing: the opinions of others don't really matter. What truly matters is how you feel about yourself, and how you choose to live your life. When you're young, it's easy to get caught up in the expectations of those around you: family, friends, society. You're told how to dress, how to behave, what kind of career to pursue, and even what kind of life to live. We spend so much time trying to meet these expectations, to gain approval, to fit into a mold that often doesn't align with who we truly are. But as you grow older, there comes a moment of clarity. A moment when you realize that none of those opinions really define you. They don't make you who you are, and they certainly don't determine your worth. There's an incredible sense of freedom that comes from letting go of the need for external validation. From recognizing that you don't have to live up to anyone else's standards. You don't have to fit into anyone else's idea of what your life should look like. This is your journey, and you have every right to live it in a way that feels true to you. You have the right to be yourself, unapologetically, and to let go of the need for approval from others. Think about all the times you've held yourself back because you were worried about what others might think. Maybe you didn't pursue a passion because it didn't seem practical enough. Maybe you stayed in a job that made you unhappy because it was what was expected of you. Maybe you said yes to things you didn't want to do, just to keep the peace or avoid disappointing others. But what if you let go of all of that? What if you stopped worrying about how others might perceive you, and instead focused on how you perceive yourself? At this stage in life, you've earned the right to live authentically. To make choices that align with your values and your desires, rather than the expectations of others. You've earned the right to be comfortable in your own skin, to embrace who you are, and to live in a way that brings you joy. And the beautiful thing is, when you let go of the need for approval, you open yourself up to a life that is true, meaningful, and deeply fulfilling. One of the most powerful lessons that comes with age is understanding that you can't control what others think of you. No matter how hard you try, you can't please everyone, and that's okay. People will always have opinions, some will support you, and others will criticize you. But in the end, those opinions are just that, opinions. They are reflections of other people's perspectives, their own experiences, and their own insecurities. They are not a reflection of your worth or your value. When you let go of the need for external validation, you give yourself permission to live boldly. To take risks, to follow your passions, and to create a life that feels meaningful to you. You give yourself the freedom to make mistakes, to learn, and to grow without the fear of judgment. You give yourself the space to be human, to be imperfect, to be vulnerable, and to be true to yourself. Imagine what your life could look like if you stopped worrying about what others think. Imagine the freedom that would come from making choices based solely on what feels right to you. Maybe you'd wear the clothes that make you feel most comfortable, rather than worrying about what's in style. Maybe you'd spend your time on the activities that bring you joy, rather than the ones that others deem productive. Maybe you'd finally give yourself permission to let go of the expectations that have been weighing you down, and to live in a way that feels light, joyful, and true. Living authentically means embracing who you are, without apology. It means recognizing that your worth isn't tied to what others think of you, but to how you feel about yourself. It means understanding that you are enough, just as you are, and that you don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to earn anyone's approval, because your worth is inherent. You are worthy simply because you exist. Letting go of the opinions of others also means letting go of comparison. It's so easy to look at the lives of others and feel like we don't measure up. To see someone else's success, their accomplishments, their perfect life, and to feel like we're falling short. But the truth is, comparison is a thief of joy. It takes away from your ability to appreciate your own journey, your own growth, and your own unique path. Your life is your own, and it doesn't need to look like anyone else's. The choices you make, the path you follow, and the way you live are all uniquely yours. And that's what makes your journey so beautiful. When you let go of the need to compare yourself to others, you give yourself the freedom to appreciate your own life, to see the beauty in your own experiences, and to find joy in your own way of being. Another important aspect of embracing your true self is understanding that not everyone will understand or agree with your choices, and that's okay. Not everyone needs to understand you, and not everyone needs to approve of you. What matters most is that you understand and approve of yourself. That you make choices that feel right to you, and that you live in a way that brings you peace and fulfillment. At the end of the day, the only opinion that truly matters is your own. How do you feel about the life you're living? Are you making choices that align with your values and your desires? Are you living in a way that feels true to you? These are the questions that matter. These are the questions that will guide you toward a life that is meaningful, fulfilling, and authentically yours. As we wrap up this journey, I want to encourage you to embrace who you are, without fear or apology. To let go of the need for approval, to release the burden of other people's expectations, and to live boldly, authentically, and joyfully. You are enough, just as you are. You are worthy of love, of joy, and of a life that feels true to you. And you have the power to create that life, to make choices that bring you happiness, and to live in a way that honors who you truly are. Thank you for joining me on this journey of reflection, growth, and self-discovery. If you found value in this conversation, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future content. And of course, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. How are you choosing to embrace your true self? What are some of the expectations you're ready to let go of, and how are you choosing to live authentically? Let's continue this conversation together, and remember, you are enough, just as you are. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.